So I'm going to show you how to design your own levels. To do that, you have two different options. The first one is to use a standalone level designer. But in this video, I will show you how to use the web designer that I made. But if you want to use the original designer, which can work better for some features, you can just download it using the link here. So first you can go to the designer screen by just clicking on it, and then you will end up on this page. What's going on? You can see that in the most important part of your screen you just have a gray background, and you will use this part of the screen to draw your level. On the left you have a panel made up of different things. On top here you have the different tiles that you can put in your level, or all the different tiles that are available in the multiplayer game. And then for each tile you will have the possibility to set its coordinates, its angle, its scale, and a set of properties which are tag and name properties that are useful for some tiles. You will also have a set of options for your whole level, like allowing the suicide button. So in game, when you hit K, if it's activated, your character will be able to die and respawn to the last checkpoint. You can also set the flow to enable it or not. And finally, the name of your level. So in our case, we can just make a test level, which will be just a small example of how we design some stuff. So the most basic way to use the interface is to select a tile, and then you click on the screen to put it. And a very simple level will be made of a start block, an end block. So the start block is where your character is going to spawn when you start, and the end block is the block that will allow you to finish the level once you reach the end. And in between them we just put some blocks, which will be the route the player will have to follow. Then to export your level, you click on the export button, and here you will see the code that you will be able to copy. Then go in the game and paste in order to play it. So here you can see we have our level with 3 different blocks, and we can just play it. It's stupid, but that's it. Now I can show you just a few of the features that we have in the designer. So first, if your level starts being a bit big, you can zoom in and zoom out using your scrolling mouse key. So in our case, you can see that I can zoom back here. If my view is not centered, I can press the Alt key and then drag the screen with my mouse, allowing me to move. An alternative is to use the arrow keys, as I'm currently doing. And that's how to navigate in your level. Knowing that the top left of the red rectangle is 0, 0 coordinates, as you can see here. Now you can see that when I move a block, you will move on the x-axis. It will change its left coordinates. If I do the same in the y coordinates, it will move the top thing here. So you can either manipulate the position of a block manually using these menus, or on screen using your mouse. Some useful commands are the shift key, which allows you to, as you can see, if I don't press the shift key, I will move the block by offsets of 25. If I press the shift key, it will allow me to have any intermediate position. It can be useful in some cases, but use it with care because it can lead to some unpredictable behavior in game. But you can have fun with that. Another feature that we have is if we take some spikes, for example. So I can want to put a spike on top of this pillar, but sometimes I also want, for example, to put a spike on the side of this block. How can I do that? I can either rotate the spike using my mouse. I can also use the Z key, which will allow me to rotate any tile by an offset of 90 degrees, like that. And I can do that several times. Another feature is the fast design feature, which allows you, if you take a block, for example, and you press just your right click, to just move your mouse, and then when you move it, it will just place some blocks following your mouse without having to click every single time, which can be quite useful. Another feature can be the copy-paste feature. So in this case, if I just make a small pillar like that, maybe I want to copy it to put it on the side. So I just select the blocks that I want to copy, I press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, and I can just move the blocks where I want. This can be quite useful. And once you have that, as you can see, you will have, once you play your level as you designed it, and you can play it as you want. I think I can show you a last important point, which are the tag and name labels that you can set for some of the tiles, which are mainly the axe. I will just make the level a bit bigger to show that. How to use these attributes. So you can use these attributes for axes, for pop spikes, and for teleporters, mostly. So then I will let you just have fun with the game, but I just show you how to use it in these particular cases. So an axe or a falling spikes is an animated tile, which means that it will move. If you take just an axe or a falling spike, like a pop spike, like that, if we play the game, you can see that the axe is moving. You have 60 different positions for an axe, which moves around its center position, and it's the same for a pop spike. You have 80 different positions, and the designer allows you to manipulate these positions and set it according to your needs. If we go back here, we can just show an example with two different axes. Sorry. So I can just set the start position of an axe using the name label, and I can just, for example, leave the first name to nothing, and then in the second I can just put the A prefix and then a number between 0 and 60 to show to set the start position. So if I put A30, I should have one axe starting in one position and the second one starting is in the opposite position. And if I can do the same thing for pop spikes. So here I take my pop spike. The first one will be a standard pop spike. I don't put any specific animation indication there. But for the second one, I can just put P40. for example, which means that on spawn at start, your pop spike will start with the 40th frame of the animation, which means that it will be at a 40 offset compared to a standard spike. Okay, and finally you have the TPs, which can be modified. So a TP will be made of the T letter, then you will put the ID of the TP, which will be a letter, so we can put A, for example. And then depending on if you set 1 or 2, you will have either an entrance or an exit of the TP. So for example, if I put TA1 and there TA2, I will have in the first case this TP that if we go in the TP, we will reach the other end of the TP, which is TA2. And you also have text blocks which can be used to set some texts by using the tag value. So if I put just hello, you will see that in game I have the text box hello, which is showing. So just to finish, I can show you a small demo. So if you look at the axis here, you can see that you have an offset. In the same way, if you look at the pop spikes, you can see that it's opposite. The first and the second spikes are starting from an opposite position. And finally, if you go inside a TP, you will reach the end of the TP, and back and forth it's the same. And you have the text block. And finally, you have the finish block on the right, so you can just reach it and you have finished. So I think you saw the most important features of the designer, and you are ready to play with it now. So good luck and have fun.